So hi Ed.
Hi.
Really enjoyed listening to your music
Thanks
yesterday
very
and
much.
today. We're here at Burton Agnes. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was sent away by my mum when I was 6 3/4 to board at St George's, Windsor, which is the choir school for the castle at Windsor. So I've always had music from a very young age as part of my life, sort of professionally as well. And then left school, and it was a big shock because secondary school there wasn't anything like the kind of musical setup. So I've kind of let it drift a bit. And then age 17 I started writing songs at the piano. I got really bored. My piano teacher set me the Chopin Raindrop Prelude, and I just couldn't play it. And I tried and tried and tried, and I thought even if I could play it, there are thousands of people who can play this much better than me. So I thought maybe it's time to try something different. So that was the day I started learning some sort of pop piano, and it's just gone from there. So I wrote a few songs back then, and I've just kept it up. Really enjoy it.
Brilliant. And so, are you classically trained then?
I suppose technically I'm classically trained. I think if you're being a real stickler, then classically trained means you continued your classical training at a university or a conservatoire, which I didn't. I had some singing lessons at the Guildhall as part of my degree, which was very useful. But yeah, it's definitely from 6 till 13. I mean, it was relentless at Windsor. We had to know something like 1,500 pieces of music and be able to sing them with as little as 5 minutes warning. It was a crazy time, but I picked up so many skills at such a young age. I wasn't even aware of picking them up. Things like being able to deal with rhythm quite well. I mean, I've let it slide a lot, but age 13, I was in the musical form of my life.
The discipline of music, you've sort of got really deep into your soul then.
I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, we used to be woken up by matron at 6:30 in the morning to do an hour and a half's music practice before we even got to eat breakfast. It was a really old school, traditional kind of choir school. We did 8 services a week, I think, which was pretty standard. But I think there aren't that many choristers anymore. Because when I went back to St George's recently for a service to see my friends, they were only doing 3 or 4 services a week. So. It was a very intense musical upbringing, and I think I've been very lucky in that I've kept a lot of the kind of natural discipline side of things, which is very hard to keep up when you're in your 20s and there are other things to be doing.
So that marination in music's really helping you now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think one thing with my songs, which is kind of a weakness and a strength, I think. Is that they're very melody-based, melody-orientated. They always sound kind of nice. The chords are nice and they link in together. I don't do anything musically unexpected, and I think that's because from a young age I knew what I liked the sound of. And so aged 8, I already knew that my favourite stuff was sort of the Debussy, the French, really close together kind of clusters of just lovely sounding music. And I much preferred that to Bach or Mozart or anything.
So that makes your music really accessible to people.
Well, I hope so. I'd hope that would be the case. Obviously, there's a danger that it could become boring. Hopefully, I stray on the side of staying interesting. But definitely, I've always tended towards a kind of predictable sequence of chords. And for me, it's really just about the voice you put over them, the tune you put over them, and the words, obviously. I don't really do anything tricksy or, showy-offy. It's all quite straight-laced. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not to say.
So what inspires you in your lyrical writing?
I mean, I'm quite traditional in that I like rhyming couplets. And I like my choruses to be A, B, A, B. But beyond that, I mean, really, it's just whatever I'm moved to do. I've only written 2 songs kind of deliberately where I've said to myself, I'm going to write a song today. And they've actually been my weakest songs, I think. The ones that are strong, or at least can stand alone on their own merit, are the ones where I've been kind of driven to an emotional state of some, excitement or sadness. And then the words just sort of, come out because, you're in that place. I think that gives, I'm saying what all musicians would say, that's how you write songs, really. And I think, that's where you get the honesty. What I hope to avoid is kind of churning out songs because I've been told to or to a deadline, because I don't think that's fair on the music or on you as an artist.
So unique to your moment or your experience?
I think so. I mean, without being pretentious, I do think it's about, you know, an emotional moment that you record. That for me is what a song is about, and that's why my songs are always quite, I guess, melancholic. They've been called by a lot of people, and I think that's fair. But for me, you know, Celebrate Good Times Come On isn't something that I think is worth being put down in the template of a song. I'm not saying it's a bad song, you know, I enjoy listening to it, but for me, songs are, you know, kind of in the old style of John Dowland in the 16th century, you know, one man and his lute. It's got to be about something passionate, otherwise, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And which comes first for you, the music or the words?
It's always the words.
Oh, right.
Nearly always I mean, because I'll sit at the piano and I'll get a riff going, but I won't try and write anything. I'll just kind of store it up in my head as one to use for later. And then when I moved to write some words, I, you know, try and match it up with the riff, and normally there's something I've been working on that's kind of ready for it. But as I say, because my songs are quite musically simple, it helps a lot. It makes songwriting very quick. I don't think I've ever taken more than an hour to write a song, just because I've normally got all the bits together.
Focused, yeah. And you've got quite a range in your voice as well, haven't you?
Well, I think, yeah, I've been very lucky, because my voice broke, and as any choir boy will tell you, that's a really scary moment if you're planning to sing for the rest of your life, because you can have a bad break and that's it, your voice is gone. Even if you work really hard, you can just be left with an average voice. And I was very lucky in that my range stayed quite high, quite broad, so very lucky to be a tenor, not a baritone. But it is something I've had to work really hard at. I mean, even a year ago, it could be age as well, but a year ago I only had a sort of top A just about, and you know, suddenly through working at it I've got a top D just about, which is crazy high.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So if people want to get hold of you, how do they do that?
Well, I'm releasing an album which I got, I was funded by sort of fans on the crowdsourcing website slicethepie.com. And the album, the proceeds of that have gone to making an album. It's taken a long time, because my producer and I, we didn't quite get it right a couple of times, so we've been working hard at that, and I think we're there. And so in the next couple of months, fingers crossed, the album will be out. It's long overdue. There are a lot of people very annoyed at me because I've taken so long, but I think the album will be better for it.
And if people want to get hold of your album, how do they do that?
Well, it's going to have to be the online digital way. It'll be through Facebook, through MySpace, even though MySpace isn't too hot anymore. Facebook is the way. I have a Facebook page that you can. I think you have to become a fan, which is a bit.
Yeah. So is that Ed Bell?
I think it's Edward Bell or Edward G. Bell or Edward Bell Music.
Okay, so
but if you Google it,
look
it should
for that.
come up.
Yeah. Right. Well, we hope to catch up with you again, because we really loved your songs and enjoyed your performance. And thank you.
Thanks.